Welcome back, everyone, to Tech Talk. We're excited again to be here with you. I'm Eli Navas.
And I'm James.
So, James, remember, is the tech guy, and I'm the ministry guy. And this is the segment when I shoot him with questions.
And I try and answer them.
Yeah, and he has to answer. So he's so happy to have you back, guys. We're having so much fun, and we really enjoy to be sharing this experience that we have in ministry and technology to put it available for you guys. So this is a semi-podcast channel that we want to share with you every single week, just to make sure that you have a clear idea where to go with technology regarding ministry. That's why it's Tech Talk. So remember, James, he's from Audio Networks. Did I say it right? No! Networks Audio Video. Oh my goodness! It seriously is that X. That X is not from God. Networks Audio Video is the sponsor of this segment of Tech Talk. But we're having so much fun. So remember, please subscribe. You will see permanently James' YouTube channel. He has really good videos that he has posted in the past weeks, past days, and he has a really good video about it. Can you tell me really quick about that video that you posted 2 days ago? It was regarding the resolution of the cameras.
So what I did was I actually made a comparison between a webcam, which was one that you, like an external one,
Yes.
Versus a professional camcorder. And it was because I've actually had some churches ask about starting a video ministry, and some were talking about, well, what kind of camera do we get? Do we get like a webcam? And I've even had that type of question. So I thought in this case, I would actually do a comparison to show the difference between the quality. And in the video, I mean, it was clearer that the professional camcorder, just by the name professional, you would think that it was better, and it was. Better color quality, better white balance, better for close and far shots, and really there was quite a difference that was noticed. And
So we're going to leave James' YouTube channel in my YouTube channel permanently here. So after we finish, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and to his channel, and you can see that video because it was really, really good. And believe it or not, it was really funny too, just to see the changes and the technicalities that he has to deal with. So remember, this is Tech Talk, and we're going to talk about something that I requested from James. We were trying to get ready, and I said, James, what are the problems that you have been facing during this week? And he said Wi-Fi, and I said perfect, let's talk about connectivity and resolution. So let's dig into our topic for today, connectivity and resolution. Are you ready, James?
Yes.
Question number 1: how important is the network connection for live stream? Can it be done through Wi-Fi?
Yes, it can be. And really, network is very important for, any type of signal that you're sending, whether you have it on the wired network or Wi-Fi. It's very important. And it's not just the network signal to the internet, but it's also your internal network that you're connecting it to. If you're connecting directly to a cable router or like a router from, let's say, Bell or whatnot, you have a certain amount of speed available right there, and that would be your highest possibility of getting that connection done, whether you do it through Wi-Fi directly from the box or not. If you have a network that you're connecting to, and then that network is going to the router, now you have a network that you potentially have to deal with as well. And depending on how that network is built, you might have other issues that cause you to have bottlenecks that maybe causes you to have dropouts. Just imagine that you have, you know, imagine you're driving on the highway and you have maybe 5 lanes that you can drive on this highway, and suddenly everything comes into one lane. Well, as it does, you have all of this traffic trying to get in, and it causes you to stop and then to move and then to stop and then to move and then to stop and then to move. When you have a continuous flow on a stream, it's good.
Okay.
When your stream stops, that's not good. What it does is it causes your stream to stop. And
That's
so
not rocket science, right?
it's not rocket science. And so what you have to do is you have to keep that highway wide. So if you're going to have that network where it has, you know, a whole bunch of connections, and you have one network switch, which gets connected to a second network switch and then over to a router, well, your connection from switch to switch could be your problem, because you might be taking all these lanes of traffic, shoving it down a single wire to a second switch, and then it goes, you know, to the internet. And so you could have, you know, because somebody else is using Wi-Fi, someone else is maybe watching the stream come back from, say, YouTube or Facebook, whatever you're sending it on, and someone else is searching something else on the internet, or whatever the case may be, it can actually cause you to have these jams that take place, and then it just drops.
Okay, I have a part of the thing that I want to know is like, what are the elements that we need in order to have a really good connectivity for the live stream production?
Well, I guess I could expand on that, because elements needed for you know, the live stream in terms of network, that's one thing, but in terms of the live stream in general, or even post-production, there'd be a number of things that would be needed. And well, first off, you'd need, you know, cameras, whether you have one or more. Mm-hmm. You would need something to pick up the audio, like a good microphone with an audio interface maybe, or maybe you're using your sound system, and your sound system, if it's digital, might have the ability to connect directly into what you're using that would allow you to record or to stream. And if it's not digital, if it's an analog, you might use an audio interface, and that audio interface then converts the signal to a digital signal that can be, again, going to your computer or whatnot. Mm-hmm. You may need a video switcher if you have multiple cameras. And especially if you're using cameras and you're using maybe some kind of PowerPoint, or using something to do overlaying because you're doing titling, or you know, you want to display words on half of the screen as an example when singing is taking place. So you might need a video switcher in order to be able to accomplish that. And that might be something which is a hardware-based video switcher, much like what I use when I do videos, or it could be software-based. And also, you're going to need something to do the recording and or to do the live streaming itself. And again, that could be hardware or software-based. And I guess that depends really on, you know, how you want to accomplish things, and how much you want to put as a burden onto, say, a computer or a laptop. You know, if you have something that's very, you know, high quality, it's got a high amount of memory, mm-hmm. It has a very fast speed, it has a fast hard drive with a lot of capacity, it has a good internet connection, it has, you know, updated Windows, so you're not getting a Windows update during the, you know, while it's trying to do something.
If you want to do something like that, you will be on YouTube in bloopers.
Yeah. But even that, even all of those things, what you need is, you need content.
Yes.
You need to be able to know what you're going to put on it. And so when it comes to, say, live streaming your service, obviously you have the service, but you have to plan what you're going to put on it. Whether you are going to show titling, whether you are going to display words or not, whether you are going to do certain types of shots and so on. So you have to plan that. And I know previously in another video we spoke about just, you know, making a video production plan, and that's part of that. I mean, that's what's going to bring you your content. And so that's a very important thing to have.
And what do you think, or what can you tell us the actions that we can take regarding this specific subject?
Start off with just focus on, the video, on the content, focus less on the technology, more on the content, just how you're going to do things, how you're going to get it done, what you're going to have in it. And the technology, if you have to start off small, if you have to start off with, just a smartphone, then do that, and then work your way up if you have to. Once you've gained some traction, you've been doing this for a while, you have several videos done, and you're gaining some feedback from the viewers. At that point, you'll kind of know what's working and what isn't. And so also, if you're using something like a YouTube or a Facebook, there are some analytics available. There are some statistics that say how many views and so on, even how much time that somebody spends watching the videos and so on. And you can use some of that to grade how well you're doing or not. And when you're ready to upgrade technology, do it in steps. Allow your teams to learn and adapt to each new feature, and to really soak in and understand, and to be able to do things well.
I like what you're saying regarding the actions, because what you're trying to say, in other words, or simple words for human beings like me, is gain experience. Because when you start posting videos, you will gain the experience that you need for the bigger picture and the bigger platform that you will get. Yesterday, I was talking with one of the pastors of the church, and he told me that he has been working since 2013 building up the platform for the church, and he's really protective about it. And when you see his videos, because they do a lot of videos and a lot of media, that's the important part, being presence in the media. His presence, the only one that he's not present is TikTok, and by the way, that's a sinking ship. But it's still, that's another topic. But he said that he's really protective, because all his videos in the first 24 hours are 1,000 views. I mean, for a church, for a ministry, that's a lot, and that's really good, because people is watching, people is following him. So you are focusing, even talking about technology and actions, but make it happen first. And then you don't need the equipment first. You need the content. And that's something really important that James is referring to, because we're supposed to talk about tech talk, but he's referring again content. So think about all those things. Remember, it's really easy just to switch from channel to channel. I like your worship, but I like someone else's message. So that is really important. Don't focus on the technology at the beginning. At the beginning, it's really important to have something. And then as long as your content is there, you will literally reach out to places that you have never been able to do it through your sermons locally in your community. You can do it internationally, worldwide. I'm telling you by experience. You can also talk about it, James, but I have people watching from Chile in my channel, in this channel, Hope for Today TV, also from New Zealand, also from far away from the land of Markham. We're in Ontario. I'm just an hour away, and that's James clicking and saying that he likes it. So that's really important. But that takes me to the next question, James. Question number 2, because we're talking about everything. What resolution do you think is necessary for a successful live stream?
Well, resolution is, oftentimes we're talking about resolution, and when we look at YouTube videos that are present, or even Facebook videos, we're kind of feeling like we need to have the highest resolution possible. But the question is what are we watching the videos on? And the people that are watching it, what are they watching it on? And so what would be acceptable? If most of what you're watching on is on a smartphone, then you have to think of what resolution is that? What resolution is a smartphone? If most are like tablets, like an iPad or a Galaxy tablet or something like this, what resolution is that? What resolution is a laptop, like the laptop I'm using? Or what is the resolution of a computer monitor or your television as far as that goes? And so, and where is the majority of people, what is the majority of the devices that are being used? I know that from the statistics that I gather from my website, where it says activity, where people go to the website, it actually tells me how many are mobile users and how many are computer users. And it's kind of split.
Really?
It's kind of split. And sometimes I find that there's more mobile users than there are computer users.
Okay, but I'm sorry for the interruption. So you're talking about your website, right?
Yeah, just a website, just
Okay.
to show where people are they're doing their searching, they're browsing from. And there's been a trend over the number of years where it's less and less on a computer and more on a handheld device, whether
Okay,
it's a
that
tablet.
note, James, that you're mentioning, that's the reason why I asked you about the website, because when you will see on the screen my stats from my YouTube channel. I don't remember exactly what are the percentages because I don't have it in front of me, but you will see a picture popping right now. The majority, a high percentage of viewers of my YouTube channel are through a smartphone, tablets, even TVs, smart TVs. Remember, and that's really important. Now the picture is gone, so we're coming back to this one. So it's really important. And again, I'm sorry, I don't like to interrupt James in this spot, but it's true. You have to think about smartphones, tablets, laptops, and TVs resolution because people is actively watching online.
Yeah, and in terms of resolutions, when you're looking at a smartphone, oftentimes it's about 640 by 360, which is, it's not 4K. 4K is like, I don't know, 38 something by whatever, 2000 something, whatever like this. But
Yes.
that's 4K. And 1080, as we call it, is actually kind of referred to as 2K. But the 640 by 360 is oftentimes what you have for a smartphone. A tablet oftentimes is like around 1280 by 720. A laptop, my laptop happens to be 1366 by 768, just a little bit more than a tablet. Some computers, a number of computers are using 1920 by 1080 or higher, televisions as well. So most televisions today are, either if you bought it a number of years ago, it was, in HD 1080p, or if you're buying it today, it would more than likely be a 4K. So having like that range of resolutions, I mean, obviously you want to be able to cover all the devices, but it doesn't mean that you have to have 4K. You just have to have enough that it works on everything and it works clearly. And I know that even if we look at resolutions that come onto a television, such as cable TV is 720. So it's the same as like a tablet, 1280 by 720. It's not the full HD. It is not 4K unless the channel itself is a 4K channel. But regular sort of cable TV is just 720. And so if that's clear enough on your television, I mean, that's maybe clear enough for your live stream. Maybe you don't need to go to 1080.
Yeah, in my case, when I upload my videos to YouTube, I'm recording in 4K because my cell phone allows me to have 4K resolution. But when I upload it to YouTube, YouTube is the one, and that's the reason why I like YouTube rather than Facebook, because of the measuring statistics and all the stuff. But also, remember that the devices in the programs like YouTube, like Facebook, like TikTok, all the media player video apps in online will accommodate the resolution to the devices. You don't have to do it. So in my case, what I do is I upload it in the best resolution possible, and then everything will be accommodated also to your own settings. So it's really, I don't want to say ambiguous, but that's a reality, because some people had it for 680. What was the resolution that you were mentioning? The default resolution sometimes in YouTube in my phone is 640 by 360, and it's really low, but I don't see the difference. But still, you have to think about, in my case, this is what I do. I upload the best resolution possible, and then everybody can do whatever they want, because I can just successfully be on the TV if it's in a smart TV, and they won't feel the difference because the TV will reaccommodate the resolution automatically. But this takes us to ask you also, what are the actions that we can take regarding this resolution needed for the live stream and productions and everything?
Well, to stream 4K in a live stream actually takes a lot of bandwidth. And so you probably want to start off closer to about 1080. Right. And if your bandwidth allows it and it works great, then just keep going with it. And, you know, eventually at some point, you know, if you can bring it up to 4K, if you do some tests and it works fine, then great, you can do that too. But frankly, trying to build a video system with 4K at this point is very costly.
Yes.
The cost of a true 4K camera that can provide you 4K content, which would be live streamed or even just sent to a 4K video switcher, and then from there, you know, streamed live. It's very costly in comparison to HD. I would think you would be better off starting with HD, because knowing that, you know, you only really have to meet 720 in order to be able to do all the platforms. Okay. And, you know, having 1080 to start with, if you have dropouts, bring it down to 720, in order to keep it consistent and well. And use your CDN, which is your content delivery network, you know, YouTube or Facebook or whatever, to do the rescaling of the video for your devices, for the viewers. So you send it up into the higher resolution, and it will automatically create the streams, the lower streams, so that when people connect, it'll automatically connect them at the appropriate streaming resolution rate. And you know, consider the cost of moving towards 4K in the future. You know, implement some 4K technologies where it makes sense. And where that might be is if you have a camera coming back to a video switcher and you need to put some extenders on it, you probably want to put 4K extenders now instead of putting just HD extenders. The price differential on that is small in comparison to, you know, doing it later on. But, you know, you might have a 1080 camera at this point, but in, you know, 4 or 5 years from now, if you upgrade your camera, you don't have to upgrade your extenders, you just upgrade your camera. So there are some things that you can start off doing immediately. As you're implementing some things, implement it where it makes sense. Where it doesn't make sense, just hold off and use, you know, 1080, just use HD technology where you have to.
I remember that we talked about before building up your video ministry, to see the video ministry as a puzzle. So you don't have to buy equipment that you don't need, but you will add, let's say by example, you will go for a 4K camera. That will help you to grow maybe slowly, because financially it's a really huge step of faith that you have to take for a 4K camera, but you know that you won't outscale your own ministry, because if you get right now a 1080p camera, it will be good, but if you want to go to 4K, you will have to sell that camera in order to get your money back, or it will go again to the evil to the evil room that I call evil room, the storage room. So that's the reason why we do these talks, because we want to make sure that you know how to do it, or you learn from mistakes from some people that I made mistakes purchasing cameras that they are wrong, and you have to think about it. Buy the pieces of the puzzle just to make your video ministry to grow, right, James?
Yeah, and just keep in mind, you know, manufacturers, when they talk about some of the technologies that they have. As an example, some of them talk about 4K cameras. Some of them are 4K only when they're recording onto a memory card, onto an appropriate memory card, onto the camera, and are just HD when you connect it to, say, an HDMI connection. If you're going to take that and put it into a video switcher or into your computer. So you have to keep that in mind too. So even though a camera says 4K, it may only have an HD stream. So a true HD camera, a true 4K camera in relation to an HD camera could be 3 to 5 times the price. So that's why I'm saying you have to keep in mind that 4K, yes, it's nice. From a price perspective, it's not 10 or 20% more, it's a lot more. So you probably want to, think of it as if you're starting your video ministry, you may want to start off with some HD cameras and work your way up in a few years from, 3 to 5 years, where you would take those cameras out and bring in other ones. And those other cameras, the HD cameras that can record in maybe 4K that you might have, can be used for other things within your ministry where you need to record for, post-production as opposed to stream live. So that you could also reuse some of that and, not leave it in the closet very long.
Okay, James, just to resume all the things that we have talked today, can you recap what are your advices for what we talked today about resolution and network connectivity?
Well, first off, resolution, HD is probably as high as you really want to go practically, unless you really have the budget to go to 4K. And and that's from the point of view of if you're starting out. If you are already well into the ministry and you already have HD and you've had it for a while and you're looking to upgrade at that point, upgrading to 4K would make sense to you. And that can be done in phases where you might start, again, upgrading things that are like, let's say, your connections from the camera to the video switcher. And eventually maybe the cameras and video switchers and whatnot would be upgraded as well. And your connections might be HDMI related where you have extenders. It could be SDI where you're changing from 3G SDI to 12G SDI and running your 4K over that. And it would mean that maybe your SDI cabling might need to be replaced to accommodate that higher data stream on there. And again, your computer, if you have a computer that runs your video switching software and you have different capture cards, you may have to upgrade the capture cards to accommodate 4K. If you're using HDMI to USB capture cards, outside capture interfaces, you might need to upgrade those again to be 4K compatible. So there's a number of things that you need to maybe do, but you might do them a bit at a time and just run your lower resolution until you're ready to flip the switch to have that higher 4K resolution. And if you're just starting out, HD is a great place to start. HD is not going anywhere for many years. And just, think about even the smartphone, which is, as Eli was saying, the majority of what's been happening for watching the videos. And it's the same here. So you can have a 4K resolution, but it'll never show 4K on that smartphone. It'll always be a much lower resolution because that's all it's required. And bandwidth is what's important too for companies like YouTube, where they want to minimize what's the bandwidth that's going to that phone. They don't want to send 4K to it unless they really need to. And so that's something for you to think about as well too. You don't need to create that high resolution. And in terms of your network, you don't want to necessarily stream too much either, because if your network has any potential bottlenecks on it, it'll just cause the stream to be intermittent and choppy or just break completely. So you want to be able to find that right balance, resolution, your capability to stream, and if your internal network within the facility needs to be upgraded, maybe you need to look at doing that as well too. So those are all pieces of the puzzle that you need to look at.
Thank you very much, James. And just remember this: these advices when you are trying to upgrade. Don't go and just upgrade your system just because you want to have 4K. And as he said, and this is really interesting, and I'm learning from all these questions. 1080p is just required for HD, and HD is not gonna go. It's not gonna grow old in the next near future, if we can say something like that. It's not like Betamax and VHS or VHS and DVD and Blu-ray. It's not the same story with those devices. It's completely different, and still we will have HD. Try to upgrade everything wisely. Remember, we're talking about God's money. People is tithing, is giving offerings to the church, and we have to be wise. Just try to do it the best way. But remember also, content is really important. And as I said it last week, and I will say it this week again, God asked Moses, what do you have in your hands? What you have in your hands is what you can do. Don't try to run if you don't know how to walk. Don't try to walk if you don't know how to crawl. So try to grow healthy, try to grow in your content, and that will make you feel even better. And then everything else God will provide, and that's why we're here, helping you with advices. I don't want to say for free, because it's not for free, because you're investing your time and we value your time. And from us, this is all for today. This is Tech Talk with Eli and James, and we're so happy that you were taking the time to listen to us. Remember to subscribe, to like the videos. You have seen James' YouTube channel and my channel underneath our faces, and follow us and ask us questions. Please leave a comment. If you like it, please press like and leave a comment if you have any other question or you want us to approach another subject regarding technology. And this is all from my side. Once again, thank you very much, James, for your time.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful week, and God bless you.